Hello again, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and it is Talcott time. I want to thank those who have already stopped in, made their appearance known. NJ, thank you. Golly geez, I was thinking about you yesterday, and some of the others that I've mentioned in my past streams, and God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for your continued attention, your continued uh I know many feel they're offering me efforts to improve. So thank you for your perspectives. And along those lines already, um well, the topic I want to discuss today is to unify in faith, right? And along the lines is what the thumbnail was showing is the all in which God is and how to find God within the all. But God bless. You know what? Before I bring him on board, this is another man who I have been, maybe I haven't given a fair enough chance. I felt I have, but I've also offered some harshness and some strictness with. But today's a new day, and welcome, my brother. Good to see you again, Tommy.
Welcome is a word I hear a lot, rarely seen displayed channel to channel. Also, the term open panel is a very misused word in these streets.
Yeah, it's open-ish. And I don't know. How you doing today, brother?
Uh, Pretty good. I like the fact that I'm getting out of that whole day-to-day paradigm. Like, that's how we are as humans. It's tomorrow, the next day, it wasn't yesterday, today is the now. That's how we naturally are in our mammal state. And I'm getting out of that because the more my reality is turning into spiritual warfare of the end times, it's all one thing. Yeah, I go to sleep on the dark cycles of it, but it's not as separated by days as much as, oh, we're in combat. Every time I wake up, there's still explosions and shooting in the distance, and I'll be there again and maybe not the next day. That's how I see this. Like, we can say, oh, it's just MySpace 3.0 where we get online and make videos and Zoom calls. No, this is the spiritual warfare of our time.
Okay. I can accept that. I mean, the spiritual warfare is being documented and revealed on these platforms.
Except for when it isn't. And there's an aspect of that documentation that if it weren't for us addressing it directly, you either see it or you don't. Like last night, I spent most of the night being pursued and conflicted by those who would claim, follow my God. Tell me that's not spiritual warfare.
Tommy, we are experiencing a very interesting adventure. You and I and we're all on our own little different paths in this adventure of life. And it is, Tom, I don't place blame, but I offer that excuse to a lot of people is that this is a spiritual warfare and that different beings and different expressions are going to come into my existence. So it's easy to get caught up in the warfare, and Tommy, I understand how it feels to be tested. It seems everywhere you go, huh?
So I've always, in this metaverse and in my real life, I've had people that I've told openly, like, I'm definitely a 4D, 5D chess kind of person. And so my last night's opposition, they want to say things like, oh, you just had a clip of Paul being Koothie with his old lady. What's the big deal? And I had to explain to them, no, I know everybody sees just that clip. That was me telling Paul, I have the whole stream that you think you memory hold. Who cares that he said, Jennifer, mommy, what the F are you doing right now? Who cares? I've seen West Virginia men beat their women like openly. Who cares? What I was telling that grifter is, hey, that whole stream you did feeling the comfort and honesty to address your cult, thinking that you're going to delete it, I was sitting there copying it down as fast as you could stream it. And those boys that don't know what they're doing, or they don't see that until I tell them, you know? And did Paul even realize that's what it is when he calls that video a failure? Like, Paul, do you remember all the things you said on that stream that you tried to memory hole and I possess like a green rock to what he thinks is his super self?
I'm sorry to chuckle after
Look
this.
at Margot. She'll take the Paul stance to go against you, and I'll come up here and try and utilize her if I want to trigger you about your son. But does she know who she is? Does she understand that dragon she's riding will just as easily turn around and eat her off his back?
I don't believe so, brother.
I don't think she knows either.
Here, actually, Margot, feel free if you'd like to come up. I mean, am I doing anything to help Spokane right now? I know there's several volunteer opportunities. I was actually considering this very question again this morning. There's a lot of wildfires, as I understand. Many.
Can I get Smith on you, sir? Can I do a Smith right now? You know, Agent Smith or 60, you know, the number guy, Smith. Can I do him? I'm watching this news report about the Hawaii fires. And you know the wildfire conspiracy right now, that hand of person you can almost see coming out of the sky, where the straight line coming out of the sky. This congressman talking about the Hawaiian fires response, why does he have to say they're laser focused on the Hawaii fire? It's like, Smith, get out of my head right now, bro. We do have lasers mounted on naval ships that can take Cessna planes down, intercept missiles that were fired. And we are laser focused on this Hawaiian fire situation. In the same time that I'm seeing TikTokers go, no, there were no sirens. People were asleep, waking up, realizing that the fires are there. Children were left home alone and with no warning system hitting the text lines. These kids burnt in their houses, man. Because Hawaii is not all caught up on the signing of documents that include you to the 50 United States on various contexts. The same way we talk about Ukraine getting UN support. They're not part of the UN treaty at the time we're talking about this. Hawaii's not part of every signed document.
But Tom, please, you're right. There's a lot of signs and stuff in this story with Hawaii. That's what I'd heard too, is that the schools were canceled. They didn't recognize what was all going on, and many children were left at home as parents went off to work. And it's like, and this devastation, it's just like everyone's fend for themselves against these, and the news is coming. These fucking investor vultures are already coming in, and you know, they're, as I understand,
why was school called off?
I can't remember the reason they said, but it had to do with power or something.
That's one of these catch-20. Oh, but the power was left on while the fires were burning.
Yeah.
So this is the catch-22. See, right now, Jack, this is a topic we can talk about it and acknowledge what I do and be like, Tom, you are nailing it. Except when I do that to these individual channels, now I'm insane. Now I'm a babbling crazy person when he's directing it at me. But they're in a catch-22 where it's like, if they were off school because of the fires, then you know about it. But if you don't know about the fires and off school, Well, then why are you off school?
Hold on.
Have you ever seen the meme where the mass bang bang person texts somebody like, "Don't come to school tomorrow," and you respond with, "Thanks, fam."
Holy cows.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in when you can't just blanket statement out of the
no,
shit.
Tom, I want
Brothers
you to
and sisters, we
try
are
to
in
keep
a
in
time that
mind.
events are happening.
Tom, please, for just a moment, try to keep in mind that you're not the only one here in this conversation, all right?
No, you got dipshits like the chat at the bottom saying, "Kids weren't
No.
home alone." Kids are always home alone, you fucking jackass.
Hey, calm down, man.
Why? I'm not so lukewarm, Jack.
Here we go. Because this is what I'm trying to offer, Tom. Yes,
I
there's a
do
lot of
not abide by the
Tom,
rules of man.
Tom, can you abide by this request?
Oh, if it keeps
That
your
we
finger off that button, sure.
Well, if we can agree that while we're here for the stream, we'll listen to each other, we'll accept what is being said, consider it, respond to the topic, we can try and understand. Because Tom, you're sharing important things, and I don't want it to be dismissed as you're just rambling on, which you sometimes do. Okay, so
Dismissed. You were dismissed from the start, Jack.
I realize, and that's a mistake that many have been making.
How so?
It's this egoic conditioning. Honestly, this is what I've learned. The egoic conditioning, we dismiss what is real because we're so focused on the egoic desires.
Who's we?
Humans.
Jack, I've told the Thorpes this before. I'm not like a demonic entity. Those are the burning eyes of truth. And you must ask to be able to see truth and discernment. It's a thing that's more like a gift than a skill to be developed.
Oh, beautiful. We're kind of getting off on a different topic from Hawaii, but this is an important thing I was thinking about earlier. We're images of the Creator, right? And we're not the exact, but we have many traits, many similarities. The best way that we learn as images is through reflection. When we reflect on what we've learned and we absorb it, we consider it from different perspectives.
This is what must be disregarded, Jack. This is the thing that's not taken seriously. It's like, I'm not allowed to interrupt. You're going to drone on with this blanket bullshit that you do on the daily.
It's not bullshit, Tom. If you would listen to what I'm saying.
Oh, we do. See, I'm talking we now.
Truth, Tom. And what is important
is what you push back on.
No, Tom. Truth is there to be accepted because God is that which reveals the truth for us each.
No, you can find truth. You can seek ye truth and the kingdom of God, and it will be revealed.
Is now. It's always now. The eternal kingdom is available.
I stand at the door and knock, knock, knock.
I'm inviting you to join me.
I was speaking the words of the Son of my Father who walked this earth before me.
That's who I follow, Tommy.
Nah,
it's not.
You look mighty unfamiliar on that, just like that toilet bowl baby and his grifter
friend, Tom, unless you bring, specificities with your claims against me.
Yes, okay. Specificities, specifications. Not 24 hours ago, I came on this stream right here. I said, Jack, you're ignoring honorable and honesty of that business situation. And you booted me to the back when it was too heavy. You started on that narcissist checklist. And when I added and supported to that narcissist checklist, you said you don't know what I'm talking about. Can I make sense? And you booted me again.
Tom,
Jack, I walk truth
Tom, your unyielding behavior is what has caused me to boot you. Now, please
Do it again.
show some respect. There's another guest I want to invite.
Show me some respect by not hitting that mute button again when I'm speaking the truth.
I could kick you.
I could turn on I could put a girl
welcome,
filter on
Z.
right now and go on London's Ladies Night if I'm just looking
Okay,
for a mic.
please. Welcome, Z. I'm assuming I didn't double check. Wait a minute.
Hey, Jack.
Okay.
What's up, man?
God bless. Welcome, brother. Hey, Tommy is here. I wanted to welcome you, brother. I'm excited that you showed up. Do you have time?
I got time for you, Jack. Always.
Oh, amazing. I respect you and your judgment, your time. What should we do with Tommy?
Well, Tommy's a funny case because
Yes.
there's parts of Tommy that are compelling, interesting, and quite frankly, exciting sometimes. But there's other parts to him that are just, kind of destructive and, wasteful and almost like a waste. I take Tommy in small doses, like anything. Like medicines, it's medicine at a certain dose, and then it's poison when it's too much. And that's the limit Tommy to me. And he knows all about pharmaceuticals because if I had to guess, Tommy probably hasn't slept in 3 or 4 days. I don't know, Tom.
I don't jump to that conclusion, but brother, I like Tommy. I actually really do. I know he's got a good heart in him. We've had conversations, and we've all got within us, though, this pattern of bringing chaos. So I'm optimistic, particularly with you here, Z. I'm going to bring Tommy back up. I think we can have some good conversations. Is that possible, Tommy?
Oh, very much. Yes! So now that we've confirmed that is Z, because whenever I just saw the Z logo, I'm like, Polly Boy might be on the prowl today, doing his little Polly games.
Well,
but
it's not. Yeah.
But Z, you still have the spirit of that guy in you. Like, that was the birthplace of Breaking Bad, pedo, tranny chasing. Like, you still lean into that even after he's bit you.
No, Tom, you see, that's your narrative about me. You fail to see that I
that's
my
what I'm
own
saying.
opinion about you.
Independent
of.
Tom, listen so we can have a dialogue, please.
Jack, this is where you know this to be true. You and I were part of that place before any of these other channels would know about it and before we would know about them. We originated our origin story in this panelverse, Jack. You and I originated from the borders of Unslavia when that planet didn't know there was a system rotating outside of it. And this Z guy, he's from his own planet in that solar system, and he's trying to dictate to us his limited view of where it all came from. He doesn't know he's on a globe,
Tom,
Jack.
Wait. I don't see him dictating. I see him actually.
He's saying what he sees, and his perception is the exact narrative that came from his daddy.
Well, actually, he had just barely started speaking when you.
No, this is day after day.
Well, this is a new moment right here, brother.
But we have lore. There's already lore. That's how you know that yesterday existed.
Don't become like that which you judge, Tom. Let's allow some.
You're grasping at control of something you're not any kind of entity in, Jack. You have a mod god button for this panel, and you can still have the karma to reap like everybody else. This is the panelverse, Jack.
Tom, chill out.
I do not lukewarm in spiritual warfare. Z has cited revelations himself before abandoning it.
Look, I'm seeing right now, brother. I'm seeing you focused on what you don't like. Okay, on what you find critical in this war that you're engaged with.
Poor choice of words.
But
There's no discernment in your
Let's-
wording.
let's hear what Z might have to say for himself. Like as a man who might actually
let's
know
tell him just to
why
not
he
use
does
the
what he
word
does.
meth, tranny, or homo and see if he can refer to me.
Well, Tommy, there's a few things we could do. I mean, maybe we should take a moment and go through an exercise where we say what we find valuable about Mr. Paul Enslaved. Like, and we don't always have to like meet, the fire with fire. We don't have to return the insults, the degradation, and otherwise with the same behavior. Can't we rise above it, Tommy? Can't we chart a new course starting today? Is it possible?
Well, I agree. I am more like water. Okay, I can change shape. I can flow with the situation. Like we don't always have to push water against water. I can take your flow of your homosexuality and just roll with it and increase it and amplify it.
Says the guy who spends bathroom time with transsexuals. Admittedly.
But see, here's the difference.
In the past.
See, you're snafooing. You're snafooing. Z, you admitted to bathroom time with transsexuals. And the way that you're even more demonized for it is you either forgot or didn't forget that I've been on your panel, cleared that up for you, and you know how you were wrong, and you still perpetuate it with the spirit of your daddy.
Tom, disengage from battle just for a few moments. We got another guest here.
Oh yeah, let's pile on the more and more voices before anything's concluded. Let's pile them on.
Well, actually, let's just.
In flow state, we all know where this is going to go, to the prostate.
Tom, do you not see that you're the one creating the resistance?
Do you not smell that I'm cooking in rare form today?
But Tom,
cooking, yeah, that's the operative term there. Cooking. You're cooking up with it. Right.
I just smell the prostate.
Well, Flo said he's cooking with a spoon and a little, a little flame underneath of it. He's cooking, right, Tommy?
Oh no, ZC, you're in the panel verse where quality content that also has truth to it. That's what we call cooking, like food, like a kitchen, like
Tom, you're cooking
like the ex used to do before she took her daughter, and
Tom, you're trying to create
just like the host.
Tom, I love you, man, but my microdose might be expiring. This might be my limit. Flo, welcome to you, my friend. And Z, you kept getting interrupted. Was there anything you wanted to offer? I mean,
well, I actually came here for a purpose, Mr. Talcott, if you will allow me. And I can hang out. I mean, I didn't just come here to talk about this, but I thought it was a good opportunity. So, Mr. Talcott, I'm here to offer you something. I am going on break for a week on my show. I'm going on vacation. And I'm looking for guest hosts within the show. Have you heard about this? Is this something you're aware of?
I did hear this was your intention, and I saw you were asking, you were offering invitations. Respect, please. I have an idea of what you're offering. Yes, or asking.
Well, I'm here to see if so there's going to be 5 days in a row, 5 guest hosts, right? And everybody's going to have a day. Each guest host, it's their show, 3 hours, and it's their format. And we're kind of seeing where that goes. And I just want to see, if that would be something you're interested in.
I am honored and appreciate that you're asking. What time frame are you looking at doing?
Maybe the first week of September, maybe the second week, soon. And then it'll be one of those days. I mean, I know it's uber early for you, Jack. That's the issue. That's obviously there's a logistic there we're going to need to work out. But I'm just kind of testing the waters because I want to kind of get, the people high on my list, see where they stand before I maybe ask some of the, other contenders. It's a real thing, Jack. I mean, we're going to be doing it. It's going to be a guest host week. Flow State's actually in the running too, which is interesting that he's here also. But I'm actually offering it to you, Jack, and I wouldn't be upset if you turned it down, especially given the time frame,
Dude, I think that sounds amazing. Could I use your opening music and stuff too?
You can do whatever you want. I mean, it would be, it's Z show with Jack Talcott as the guest host for the day is what it is. I mean, it's
That's
still
what
Z.
I'm picturing.
Yeah,
how to
it's
keep
still
it Z show.
Yeah, like it'll be Z show. Like, all right, Jack, you and I are old enough. Remember Johnny Carson when he would take off, and he might bring in a Joan Rivers or a guest host. It was still the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, but then it's the guest host. You know
what, Z? Yes, I'm honored and I appreciate that invitation. If you can work me in for one of the days, please.
All right, Jack, you're in, Mr. Talcott. I think the audience will be quite excited. I'm definitely gonna mark you on. You're definitely in. Cool. I'm gonna look forward to it, Jack. I'll let you know. I'll give you enough time where you can plan, and you're gonna have to set your alarm. I know it's quite early for you.
Well, I have ideas for that. I'm sure people like Tommy or others, I used to do that in the military, dude. The only way I made it through was I had buddies who'd help me fucking wake up every day.
Well, Jack, I don't know. I mean, I saw that, what's her name was in the chat from Spokane, your friendly neighbor. I forget her name now, but maybe she can come over and wake you up. Margot. Maybe we can get Margot, you still listening? Are you willing to wake Jack up at 3 a.m. in the morning?
Still have to spend the night.
No.
Have you seen her fuck me boots? Do you remember the fuck me boots?
Anyway, hey, I do still have Tommy here in the back. That intermission, and you know what? I'm inspired. Should we bring Tommy back again, see if there's any resolve today?
Of course.
I bet there will be this time. Let's do it.
It's all there can be.
Well, okay,
this
you're
is
right.
what I meant by the no more day-to-day, Jack. There is only the isness of all events in that one moment that is still transpiring. So when you say there will be resolve or improvement, it's all there can be, but maybe not completed by the time you're not in front of that fireplace anymore, or Z confirms that there will no be a misses as long as he's a flat full. And Flow State, we've been through it. Oh, but you need to lose the wrench on the quantum septic. She's going panel to panel saying I attack women. I'm like, no, I attack you.
Oh my goodness.
Not physical. Y'all saw the video. And if London Man's here, who's running ladies' night? Where am I supposed to girl filter infiltrate?
London, I was going to jump up, dude, but I didn't know if it was, allowable because I know it's ladies' night.
Is it over, Z? Or is he just so bored with them that he's chatting here while he's doing it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe he'll let us up. Not sure. We'll see.
This is how you kind of put me in that spot to embarrass him when you were like, what do you think of London having a good show without you? What I meant to say was, I didn't watch it because he straight told me not to be there. So why would I effing watch it after being told, hey, stay home, fam?
Well,
I mean, if it's ladies' night, you sort of are disqualified.
No, we're
right?
not. Hey, Flo, I know you think you're lore. We're talking about pre-ladies' night. We're talking about I was on Z's show. Z was asking me what I thought about not being on London's show that was so bomb or whatever. I don't know, Z. I didn't watch it because he told me not to be there, and I was offended.
Well, Tommy, I mean, don't be surprised when your interpersonal relationships reflect your behavior, Tommy. Who's the common denominator in all these things? I
love that you hate me for showing you're on a globe. Same with Flow State. I love that these people think I have no reason to attack these people when it's all documented. Y'all just ain't
Tom,
lore enough for truth.
no, Tom, you don't have to.
You too, Jack. You're the
Oh,
worst.
I know. I'm just
I was the original defender of you when that cult would pass you around, poking your
I
butthole
know,
on me.
and it quickly faded, didn't
And no
it?
matter how much I
You
show you to
just-
stand up to them, you always leave room for, I'm sure we can work it out, Daddy.
Well, Tom,
You're like a moose,
Tom,
aka gay moose, goose.
Tom,
Photoshop I'm working on right now.
Tom. If you look at the similarities between you and Paul, you see
You
that
are
I'm
a
ready
pot.
to cut you loose pretty soon too. Again,
I
okay?
was the first one to ever point out the similarities of me and Paul. It's why
Yeah.
Jesus is the light and Lucifer is the light bringer. Do you have discernment, Jack?
I
Is it
have
the same thing?
clear discernment. What's
No.
that for?
And you're a godless heathen to even not get it. Flow state, enjoy hell.
Whoa! Stop. Okay,
Hey, I
actually,
tried
here,
to tell him
Tom,
he's on a
Tom,
globe. He questions the faith.
Tom,
What do you want me to tell him? I'm not.
what is there like a magic word we can agree to that like gets you to yield?
Are you
Just
saying
for a
you're
moment?
creating disagreements with me, old man?
I'm saying that
You got a
I want
douchey
to
haircut.
talk about what you just said.
Are you as angry at Supercuts for what they did you? Because they've done me like that when I first tried them.
Actually, I think Brooke did a very nice job.
Dude,
Yeah.
I've almost talked shit to the Supercuts person. When they show you the mirror and you're like suppressing your horrific dissatisfaction with their work, like I've almost put it to them. And then they got the nerve to offer you some prostitute scalp massage. I'm like, look, I don't get my shit lined up to get my stuff rubbed on. This is some kind of racket y'all are starting here. You want a
Tom,
scalp massage, Daddy? No,
Jack,
I
do you
want my
get-
hair cut. I got shit to
Jack, do you
do.
Jack, do you get the shampoo before the cut? Do you opt in for that?
no,
Hold on, who was
No.
that comment you
Hey.
just shared? Can you pop that back up?
no.
I missed who it was. It's important.
Why?
Sigma male.
Okay, sorry. Jessica, you're fine. Your picture is similar to someone that I need to call out
Well,
that nobody
she
knows.
was- Tom, she was following up with my question. What is the word we can agree to for you to like give for just a moment? I wanted to talk about what you said, and then you deflected the conversation yet again.
What
You
is the word we can use to specify that none of these words we use are agreed on what they mean? And that's where the communication gets fucked up.
Oh, but Tom, see, this is what I learned. The disagreements, many of them are
The
irrelevant.
word disagreements, you just throw it around with your little dismissive game, and that's how you use disagreements.
And you seem
Like,
to
yes, me and
ignore the
Z are going to
disagreements
disagree
completely.
on the shape of where our feet are planted.
Tom, let's come back to here and now just for a few
Haven't
moments,
left,
please?
except for when you backstage me. That's the only time I left.
No. Um,
See, your fallacy is to think
Can I
that
get
because
to the
you
point?
clicked go live that you have some kind of superiority to intellect or logic.
don't project that accusation upon me.
More disagreement words thrown around. You are the problem you're trying to solve, Jack. You are the confusion and the disagreements you claim people are inciting.
Tom, right now, here in this moment, I'm asking you to look
Still
at
here.
your behavior and see the disagreements you are just generating.
No, I stand on the side of the line we disagree.
How
That
about
is where wars come from, Mr. War Ender. You don't even understand these.
Actually, I'm not. That is where wars come from. Mr. War Ender, I am a man who wants to end wars, and I know for a fact, Tommy, the ideas and justifications for conflicts are imagined. There might be objective reality, and might be facts that would justify and make the excuses for, oppression and, invading other nations, crap like that, overthrowing governments. there's excuses actually to chemicalize the people too, to dumb them down so they're not as, easily. There's a lot of excuses and a lot of evil out there, Tommy. These disagreements with me, brother, we could have so much more fun talking about other things. What do you guys think? What do we do?
Tommy's exhausting.
He is.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm to the point now that unless, like when I'm on my show, I could just throw him in the back, get rid of him. But to be on a panel with Tommy, it kind of sucks. He sucks all the air out of the room. Jack, I'm at a stage in my development now. I can't do this with certain people anymore. It's too much for me. I'm not Jack. If I can't expend energy without reciprocation at this point, right? So if somebody's just going to use my energy, if someone's just going to take, and they're not going to give and exchange and share and build, I really have very little time for it. And that goes for so many people who I don't have to mention.
Yep. Z, I honor that. And that's a lesson I had to learn for myself too. Part of self-love is recognizing where your beingness, your efforts are appreciated and where they're not. And sometimes it's better to be alone. It's better to be alone than to be with people who just want to selfishly use you. So I genuinely appreciate and respect what you guys bring. Seriously. Even Tommy too, to some extent, but in micro doses. So
I think my take on Tommy is he's loving. I think he's like the kid on the playground, the one they have to dose up with the high 80 doses for ADD medication, where like he just kind of wants to belong to the group, and he has his personality, and I think he's kind of harmless. I think he's funny. He's kind of like the class clown, right? He's the class clown, and he's lovable in a lot of ways. But to take him seriously, and like Flow State said, it gets draining after a while.
He's like my avatar. He's like a bomb from Mario. Little cherry bombs that run around and then explode places.
Well, here's another class clown projecting.
Yeah.
Broken Hoe Conference without you.
Give me some attention. Give me some attention. Don't talk about me when I'm not there.
Now, hold on. What I wanted to point out, I remember this kid in grade school. He was hyperactive, obviously ADHD, just the class clown. He was out of control. He was coming from a fucked up, broken home, right? Kid wasn't getting attention, didn't know how to behave with normalcy because his parents were out of control. I've learned to, we all go through these stages, but what I've trusted for myself, the practice for myself, is that I'm not here to judge. I'm here to learn for myself. I'm here to help correct, help educate. And I come online hoping to help educate and perhaps inspire others. And Z, we do have the opportunity to build these communities, right? That we've talked about. I've heard you discuss. I know I've discussed. We've got the opportunities and the connections right now. If we can get people together with common purpose, sharing like a call to action, and really get people involved in life, I swear, I think this is the time. I know it's the time. It's time for the world to change.
Well, Jack, you have the spirit. You have the spirit. I like what Paul said. He said, Z now working with Talcott instead of me. And then he laughed. I mean, Jack, what are they going to do when they find out you're going to be hosting my show coming up soon?
You're gonna have some discipline, Jack, about your panel management.
What will they say, Jack? What will they say? Let them talk, Jack. Let them talk. All right, I have a prior engagement. It was a pleasure, as always. Mr. Talcott, you are in to host my show. If things change, please let me know. It's fine. If you need to say, make other plans, if the time is just not appropriate for you, I'll certainly understand. But for now, you're in for a guest host spot. My friend, Mr. Talcott.
Brother, thank you. I will ask one thing, though. I don't remember how to get a hold of you. I know your contact info has been shared, and I know your name's out there, but I couldn't remember, and I didn't try very hard to look.
Just leave a comment in one of my videos. I'll leave a comment in yours, and we'll go from there, Jack. If things change, I don't think it's going to be too hard for us to find each other. Mr.
No, I'm sure we'll cross paths. Respect. Thank you for joining, brother. And if you want to drop your link, I don't remember if I made you a mod yet or not. If you want to drop your link, feel free. Otherwise, it'll be in the description later. God bless. Thank you.
All right, Jack. You take care.
Peace, brother. Flo, we've still got Tommy here in the back. So
it's whatever. Yep.
Hey Z, don't leave. Fucking coward. Oh, is that funny to you, crackhead?
No, I'm sorry that he left and you didn't get to re-add him.
No, I'm not sorry. He read in the back that he's a coward fucking faggot. Talking all that unslaved shit and running like a bitch. So let me tell you something, Jack.
What's up, brother?
My fucking parents, all right? They fucking worked their asses off to raise all kinds of kids beyond me. That was a better mother and father than your ass pulled off. My dad would run circles around you on any kind of, man shit, hard work, doing the right thing. Fuck you. Don't fucking spotlight me. Put me back on the panel so I can read a fucking room. I'm sick of all this unslaved Jack Talcott bullshit. And the funny thing is, the last time I went on Paul Unslaved to try and talk some sense into the boy, I didn't know previous to my arrival an agent of Hoax Wars had been there. God bless Hoax Wars. Shout the Hoax Wars. I went as long as I could without saying the name, without associating that street into the neighborhood. But what's done is done, and the spiritual warfare proceeds. God bless Hoax Wars, the only channel that could verify and brother communicate and recognize the Jesus following between two men without all these petty toilet bowl games, without all the Jim Bob picking and the fucking hipster illusions of it all. I'm sick of this shit, guys. I can have fun. Fun is not truth. Truth is not fun.
Hey, Tom.
You all disappoint me from your deflections, your avoidance of when simple truth hits you in the face.
Hey, Tom.
We are just getting started.
All right. When are you going to accept responsibility for your opinions? Here's another question that applies to. Welcome, brother.
How are you, Mr. Talcott? I'm actually kind of happy that once again I was vindicated and proven right. These slaves will do anything that I do and use any of my whack pack freaks to try to create a momentum in conversation. They bite off me constantly.
Is that what you think?
Absolutely. Everything I do, they wind up trying to go and do. They can't do it like I do it, right? Good luck hosting with Jack Talcott at 4 in the morning.
Ahead. Okay.
It's fucking pathetic.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
yes, the world is pathetic to a moron like you.
Oh, You should let them back up and see who's the loudest one. Nah.
Tommy already left.
Oh, he did.
And Paul's just bringing his looping ignorance and bitterness and wants to pretend he's better than everybody else. It's fucking hilarious.
It is interesting to see how many things he can give himself credit for.
Yeah. And accepts responsibility for very little. No accountability. Just he's this character that everybody's got to accept, and not just accept. Everyone's got to appreciate. Everyone's got to fucking bow down. And my favorite of his, you know, the man who claims to be the Christed being walking, suck my dick in public. What an ignorant.
Matthew 20:22.
Holy cows. The scriptures of Paul. I'm sure Tommy's excited about this. So what's going on?
So do you see how yesterday, today, same difference?
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
I'm going to support you that
You're
he's a
the
narcissist.
same
You're
way.
going to act confused.
Tom, you are behaving the same way. What I've actually
No, I'm
offered-
chill.
Okay, well, how about this? How about rather than we compare egos with Paul, is
No.
anyone else besides me interested in trying
Listen,
to
this
have
is
a
how you
dialogue?
fuck it up. If you want to prove
What
he's a,
you
if
didn't
you
even
want to
listen to
prove
what I
he's a
said, Tom.
narcissist, look, man, here's what you're doing, Jack. Okay, I don't know what kind of analogy you're gonna get, but let's say you and I are a team in doubles basketball for the melanin people.
How about come into this now? Into
Yes,
this
listen,
dimension,
Jack.
into this timeline.
Let's say you and I are about to play Paul and Z in 2-on-2 basketball, right? Okay,
wow.
you and I can sit here and say we gotta.
Let's have a conversation. Holy shit! How hard is it for human beings to understand a conversation? That's like, wow.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Here, you know what? I'm going to change the energy. Let's see. I created a Talcott user.
You could drop the two of us backstage and put the two of them upstage and just let them dogfight it out for a second, and then.
That's actually an interesting broadcasting idea.
We could take bets, you know, on.
Well, Paul's got his own show. He'll get his fucking ego stroked on his own platform. But I'm wondering if I should block him from the chat. I mean, he's offered me nothing of nothing I really appreciate. And I'm not snobby. I appreciate when I find the good in as much as I can.
You find the good in too much, I think.
Well, God is the good. Okay? This is serious. God is the good. We only know through what we process and what we accept and what we seek and what we tell ourselves. It's all in the mind. God is the good. I had a beautiful conversation last night. I am changing the energy, and we're going to have some different conversations. We still have Tommy and Paul in the back, but Smith was kind enough to drop a news clip of some sort regarding the Spokane fires. The fires.
Which one of them do you think? Sorry, which one of them do you think would win in an actual fight?
I don't know.
Okay.
Paul has the size, but Tom
seems scrappier.
Yeah, he's. I believe they're both strong. They're both strong, powerful men, but we don't need to fight. That's
true.
That's
what was the video that Smith dropped?
A short clip about something about the fires and the governmental preparedness. I don't know. Here, I actually do want to see what this is, because there's a whole bunch of fires that cropped up around here, smoke is pretty thick, and I know the churches are saying there's people who lost their homes. I don't know what's up. Oops. I don't know.
That took place there. Was National Guard able to get to, I believe it was the Lakeland Village home?
So we have Lakeland Village is protected, as well as Pine Lodge, Eastern State Hospital, and that was coordinated well. We actually ran a simulation for an event similar to this the day prior to the event. So we were thankful that was rehearsed prior to the event. It happened to be well timed. So good coordination. They had their IMT members out on the ground coordinating with our folks. And so we can certainly attribute the positive outcome there to good collaboration and coordination.
Congresswoman, if we could bring you in.
We're gonna go. So a couple.
So they did preparedness exercise the day prior.
Nothing suspicious there.
Bye, Jack. I'm gonna go do my live now. I know you can't handle me or anything.
Enjoy your day, man. Thanks for announcing your departure. And for the viewers in the chat that, feel free.
Well, most of his lives are he's probably going to stay backstage for it, because isn't your live his live while they're on at the same time? That's how he does those.
He usually restreams anybody else because it's
that was
easier
broadcast warfare, Jack. The same way I told CBO, it's not productive for him to sit in your chat and say, Tommy's here, I'm leaving, as if to promote people leave. That's why Paul popped up to say, okay, Jack, I'm going to go start my live.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Hold on. Let me address this too. I forgot to do this. The producer Moose. Peace. Yeah, the last words you left me were something along the lines of judging me as some sort of faggot, a man to be disrespected. So, producer Moose, take your happy ass and move your experience out of my life. Good riddance.
Yeah, that's Goose.
Goose.
Like a gay moose, get it? It's Goose. And so
I thought those were moose.
But Goose is going to be standing on the casting couch, being eyeballed by the line of AA men lining it. That's going to be the thumbnail for Goose.
Alcoholics Anonymous?
Here,
no.
Phoenix.
You're lacking in lore. The Unslavia referred to black people as AAs.
Well, yes. Phoenix Joshua Fox, please come join the panel. Come explain your evidence that I am the world worst life coach, the world worst guru.
I want to be the worst guru because who-woo wants to be a guru. You-woo maybe, but that's like a grifter word is guru.
Well, I'm not trying to be any guru anyway.
No, you're inadvertently being a grifter.
I'm sharing my real life experience and the things that I found helpful for me as a human being, as a man. I'm actually being very generous with what I've invested my time, energy.
Okay, here's the process. Here's the progress. Yes, you are sharing your experience, but it's not the story you're telling. It's what we're acting out right now.
Well, I've been living and acting out my life as me, and I've watched you, Tommy, Paul, and many others.
Thank you, Kamala Harris.
I've witnessed many of you living in a different reality of me, presenting
That's
a narrative
your imagination, man.
A narrative of me that shows that you are not accurate.
Right. We come up on panel and say that you were the playground child that was heavily medicated. Your parents don't give you attention. You putting 2 and 2 together here to make 5, Jack?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Tommy, is this accurate? I've offered us nothing. Us being the
Well,
viewers.
salty is rarely accurate.
I
So
know.
we can look at it and say, you've offered us nothing, which is the spirit of her daddy speaking. And as I've replied to that logic many times, value is on the searcher to find. I can look at a stock market stonk and see whether there's value or not. People that say the stock market is just a casino cannot see that value.
ERMAV, thank you. Sometimes I like those streams better myself.
Right.
I do hope for the day when people want to discuss what I'm saying.
But that's the challenge I gave Paul and Slate. Listen very closely, EVAV. Paul's always slandering his panel, saying I did better when it was just me. And yet he never goes back to it being just him. Because he's a grifter, he's a liar, he's a fraud. Now, Jack, you're abandoning the original proposition. When you first broke off from that cult, we talked. I said, Jack, all you got to do is give me a panel. All you got to do is give me a panel to take on Paul with no mod god powers. And you have yet to ever do that. And then you'll sit here and say, what about Tommy versus Paul? We'll go to the back. Just let him sit up here and fight.
I didn't say that.
No, Flow State did. And Flow State is just riding your dime, Jack. Like, Tom, he has no validity. He knows he can sit here.
I actually came up here because I was riding your dime, Tom. You know how I follow you around everywhere.
Right. Tom's the wealthy one.
Yeah.
And Tom, I threw you in the back because you're jumping again with these assumed accusations. And those assumed accusations are quite insulting. I don't feel at all that Flo is here trying to whatever. I've seen him participate welcomely with the conversations. He took off, by the way, when I put him to the back. So I don't know.
But he's still listening.
Well,
he always he pays too much attention and gets like stuck in his impressions of I don't know. He just gets stuck in the lore, it seems like.
Yes. Lori, greetings and thank you. And I'm not trying to remember anything wrong, but I know sometimes I say things that do offend. And for some reason, I thought I may have offended you in the past. I don't mean to offend anybody, honestly. None of us, I don't think any of us really, well, no, that's not true. Some... I don't intend to offend people, but sometimes the truth is offensive. Flo,
Jack.
Hey, the topic today, Unify in faith. And I know you've shared some things about you, and I don't remember the details of where you stand spirituality and such, but Unify in faith is, the reason I put that is, I heard earlier the reminder, faith is a unity. So when we unify ourselves with, right, our character, the subject of the experience, when we unify us as the subject with something else, then that connection becomes our faith.
Mm.
The idea is, what do you have faith in? And
I think that faith is entirely a personal, it's a perspective or a worldview that's entirely personal. It can sync up with other people, but like I've said before, a group is just a collection of individuals. The building blocks are the individual. And so if you've got individuals who have weak individual beliefs, views, faiths, any quality, then the group will be even weaker.
From the doubts? Is that what I understood?
Right. Yeah. Gotcha. You have to have strong individuals to have a strong group.
Yes.
But the individual is chronologically before, or structurally, however, it comes before the group.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I think.
It'd be like making a house out of cereal boxes, right? Like you can construct a nice big a cereal box is shaped like a brick. You could build a structure out of cereal boxes, but the minute it rains, you're going to be fucked.
Yes. The reason I wanted to bring up faith is the result. The result of faith, having faith, it's peace. And it can be exciting, it can be attracting, it can be exhilarating. Life can be. This idea of faith, though, it's something that I misguided. My faith was in the wrong things, is what I learned of. And I think most of the world today has their faith in the wrong things. For me, what I found the best thing to be faithful to and to have faith in is now. So what is now? Now is wherever I am, whatever is around me. I just have to have faith that I'll figure it out.
That's what I was about to ask. When you say faith, colloquially, I think that most people, when they use the word, they're referring to like trust in something, like, and I don't think I don't think that sort of faith is really ever a good idea. To just blindly trust something that you don't have any reason to trust it. But if faith is like I view it as confidence that, I walk through life not really stressing what's coming next because I have faith that whatever happens, it'll work out. I can deal with it. And even if I can't, probably I wouldn't be able to prevent it by stressing on it, So, exactly. Yeah.
Well, having faith that is the best way. I mean, faith is just simply, it is kind of a trust. And I get what you're saying about not having blind faith, but what you're describing actually creates blind faith. If you can find peace and strength and comfort in the moment of now, then you're demonstrating faith in yourself, faith in the future. It's only when we bring our mind to these scary things, these fearful things, these opinionated things, that's when we start losing our faith. But
what does faith look like then? Yeah. Because I think that it looks like confidence, not like piety.
Yes, I agree. Well, as I said, I looked at faith and tried to determine, okay, the result. The result is what is really the key. When we know why we're doing something, when we know why we're searching for something, the why is the answer, honestly. So recognize.
What do you mean? I didn't follow that. The why is the answer.
Well, we find the answers we need when we identify the correct question. And most times, why is really the answer. So if we find ourselves with something we want, an achievement or a partner or an asset, when we find those things that we want, that we desire, we've chosen it out of the multiverse. And so then we want to know why. And this is what I learned about money, the illusions of money. People are chasing this money thinking money is going to bring them happiness and comfort. No. But happiness and comfort and safety are actually those things that people are seeking. Money's just a tool.
Correct. Yeah. It's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Money satisfies the lower needs, or you can think of it as the chakra system. Money satisfies, the root chakra. However, but if you get stuck there, then you're stuck there.
Yes. I didn't understand the chakras, and I really don't, I can't prove any of it, but I do feel what appears to be energy centers within the form of my body. And by focusing on those energy centers with the archetype of that energy, right? Like the base being the feeling of being grounded and safe and being able to stand strongly. And then moving on up into the desires and the love and the activation. I don't remember them all specifically, but I know the concepts enough that I practice. I practice trying to identify, increase, and bring to the right energies how I feel.
Something interesting about the chakras, if you look at the color scheme of the chakras, and then you look at the pride flag. The pride flag approximately is an inversion of the chakra color scheme and what they represent. Fun fact.
Well, yes. Well, it's tied to the rainbow, to the spectrums of light, to there's signs and symbols in all ways, and many good things in this world have become distorted to where good is evil, evil is good, and people will fight to the death because of what they believe in.
Yep. And that's why I wanted to kind of hammer out what faith looks like, because I think that that's another one of those things that's been hammered, or that's been kind of flipped over to where people, if you walk into your standard church on a Sunday and say faith to any of them, they probably think of somebody who's meek and submissive to, whatever institutional authority or imagination they have, not somebody who's like just actually living in confidence.
Yes.
But I dug into the etymology a little bit, and I think that my understanding of it is closer to the original meaning of it.
Regarding the actions, right?
Regarding what faith is. I know I should have pulled it up before I started referencing something I did a while back and don't really remember.
No, it's fine. I appreciate it. Faith is the trust, and with a trust comes a confidence, comes a power. It all comes down to the simplest truth. We only live now. And what we do now through our awareness, where our mind is focused on and what our body is experiencing through the senses, through the feelings, those become our memories. So all we got to do is, well, not all we have to do. What I have been doing for myself, and it was confirmed this morning by another talk by that John St. Julian. The message of the Christ and the Buddhas was to become the whole and complete being the loving awareness, without the fears, without the worries, without the attachments, without the opinions. I mean, none of it.
Sort of sounds, becoming the whole being sort of sounds like integrating the shadow, if you've ever read any Carl Jung.
Absolutely. Mastering the shadow, understanding it, bringing those shadows, the past parts of us that we used to reject, the parts that we wanted to ignore about ourselves. Other people said these things. We're like, no, that's not true. That's not me. Well, we lie to ourselves. And when we stop lying to ourselves, we bring within the trueness of us all those things we love and the things we don't like. I've got a reputation of having a temper, being angry all the time, yelling.
I'm not gonna lie, I quite enjoy Angry Cot.
Well, I'm actually trying. I'm not trying. I am working to improve the version that's presented to the world. Anger was my greatest challenge throughout my life. And then it was when I started doing the Jungian, I studied from a lot of people. There's a lot of different modalities and methods that have developed from the Jungian theories, and shadow work it's a very important part of our healing, of who we became.
If you remember, I don't know if you recall, but the Enneagram type 1's vice is anger.
Yep. That one you offered me, that I had high standards, high morals. I held myself to for the important things, very high standards, but I used that excuse that I was righteous. And so since I was right and they were wrong, I could be loud and insulting. It's the same crap Mr. Unslaved does. But
there's something sort of seductive in the idea that I'm right, or a righteous indignation. Righteous indignation is a very seductive feeling that allows people to do a lot of things. And ones seem to give in, or not give in, they resist it actually probably more than anybody else, but there's a tendency towards that with, well, everybody, but ones in particular. The stupid thing is that it's probably more seductive because ones are more likely to be right for real.
Yeah. But we see, and this is the interesting thing too. I love that there's been people studying and breaking down these different personality archetypes. It is helpful in understanding yourself. And but the other thing is, all of us contain all of these different attributes to some varying degree.
Correct.
Others.
Absolutely correct. And I probably didn't, I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I don't think I did, but that is embedded within the model.
Is it?
Yeah. Everybody's got all of them. Just exactly what you said. You said it exactly.
Well, see, thank you for sharing that resource too. What I want to do is try to help bring this knowledge out into, well, as far as we can, honestly. If people understood their thoughts and emotions, if they understood the true nature of who they are, man, people are amazing. When people know who they are, when they're confident, they're not in a state of fear and worry because of this or that. When people come together with a purpose, they're creative, they are generous, they are.
So how do they get that confidence? How do they get in that headspace?
Love, gratitude. Gratitude is the key. This world has lost the arrogance, right? It's just one of these days, I don't know how to do it, but I do envision trying to do some visual presentations, maybe images, to try and help explain this stuff. But we have a trauma-based world. The government and economic systems, the structures profit from trauma, conflict, and oppression. So conflict, trauma, and oppression have become normalized. Everyone's been hurt. Oh yeah, everyone gets attacked. Oh yeah, everyone deals with this. So we normalize what is not normal.
Right.
But
and you can see that in how culture sells us, how we interact with other people, right? Like if you look at gangster rap, you're supposed to just shoot other men and take advantage of women and lie to them. You can look at pickup artist culture, feminism, all of these sort of niche worldviews promote basically the same sort of derogatory, toxic relationship dynamics. So it's no wonder we got divorce rates where we do. And I know that both of us have been there. I know that for me, I kind of had to go through one. I had to go through a bad marriage to sort of learn about myself, even how to do it right, if that makes sense.
I'm sorry, Flo.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw that he was on.
Well, no, someone had previously pointed out that half of the viewers disappeared because Paul and Truth or Cop started up. And yeah, if Truth or Cop is, you know what? I like that guy too.
I haven't watched very much of him, but I got a good impression of him from what I do know. It sounds like he does some actual good journalism.
Yes. He actually researches things and he looks into different topics and different ways of looking at things. And he's trying to bring to light some actually, I think, important topics about the way that.
Go ahead.
Well, he's pointing out how there's a lot of manipulation and distraction in the persecution of people who have been trying to stand up for what's right. I mean, admittedly, some of the people trying to stand up for what's right got mixed and infiltrated.
I used to be a Proud Boy. I could tell you all about the infiltration.
Were you?
I was.
I believe it. I mean, I believe it was infiltrated. That's the world we're living in. It's absolutely insane.
It not only was it infiltrate. I mean, like January 6th from the get-go was nothing but encouragement.
Really?
Yeah. Because I went to DC in the December before that with a group, and I was going to go to J6, but I bailed on it because I could sort of smell what was cooking.
You saw it.
The guy who drove me in December and who was going to drive in January, well, he did drive in January. Both times he drove an entirely full car from Kansas City to December. He was a Fed. So the Feds were transporting people.
I can believe that, but I could also see some people employed as federal employees, have the idea that something's not right with what's going on in the government, and they get caught up in. Everyone has all these different ideals.
No, he hid the fact that he wasn't a federal employee, and he hid the fact that he was just an informant. I've got the paperwork somewhere because he was a witness against a lot of guys in the chapter.
Hey, actually, I've heard a bunch of I've heard not a bunch. I've heard more than just one or two stories about people getting caught up in these criminal stings that the friggin' 3-letter agencies that taxpayers are paying to create, right? People get caught up in drug rings or this January 6th stuff, perhaps, mobilized. Go ahead. Oh
yeah, no, I'm just agreeing with you. Like, that happens all the time. Because if you look at the incentive structure, that's all you got to really pay attention to is what is law enforcement incentivized for arresting people, not for stopping crime. If you look at even down to your local government, all the federal money they get through the DOJ, all those grants are for a higher number of busts, not a reduction in crime. And the things that they want to bust are things like having guns, having drugs, not crimes where there's actually a victim, right? It's hard. It takes more resources to solve a crime for a victim than it does to just catch somebody driving with a gun they shouldn't have.
Yes. Well, again, we live in a realm where a lot of good is available, but through man's selfishness and temptations, there's been a lot of good that's been turned into evil. A lot of evil things are getting pretty well rewarded right now. I mean, dude, watching what is being reported, and I do look at the news as though, okay, this is history being reported. I understand it may not all be true, but this is what's going to be recorded as this time. The advisors to the World Economic Forum, they're fucking overt, their obvious infiltration into every government. And then you listen to the
young leaders through the Young Leaders program.
Dude, yes. But then you listen to the advisors like that Novel Harari guy, dude. This is just insanity.
He's a complete creep.
These are the people who the legislators are listening to. Okay.
These are the people who you think would listen to you telling them something that's completely antithetical to their trajectory.
Yes.
Why do you think that somebody like that would be open to reason and not just entirely self-interested?
Here's why. I trust that to achieve what they have done, you know, they've done whatever they've had to do, sold to whatever they had to sell to, but people are smart. I understand people in positions of responsibility and authority, and I understand how to reason with that. If we bring these topics and the state of the world into either, any type of conversation, if we want to talk about fiscal responsibility, if we want to talk about efficiency as far as labor efficiency, you know, investment in efficiency, I can present the case to anyone who's got some willingness to listen that it's time to change. That the selfishness and corruption that is infiltrated, that has held together the structures of governance and commerce, these structures of rules, dude, it's time to stop retarding humans. You're retard on, man. It's time to stop the retardation of humanity.
I agree, but when you talk about efficiency, who's efficiency in what regard? Because if you have, for instance, let's say it's Frito-Lay's, if corporate, the shareholders and the management are going to have a different objective than the labor. So efficiency for one is necessarily inefficiency for the other. I don't believe that that's free market capitalism the way it should be. I think that's crony. It's manipulated. But anyways, go ahead.
Well, what I'm offering, it would not fit the definition of capitalism by any stretch. The division within a corporation, right? You got the management and supervisory team and the labor team, and then you got the safety department, and then you got the HR department and the regulations department, and then you have the operations department. And within a corporation, all these different people employed, you know, have duties that they don't always match each other. So even within corporations, the entire structure is set to separate, divide, and it's competition. Competition without the purpose of, you know, what is the point of competition if the competition is detrimental towards progress?
Well, competition is for self-interest. For each unit, right? If each unit operates in its own self-interest, then each unit will maximize its potential, or maximize its available well-being. If every unit operates in its own self-interest and then does achieve its maximum well-being given the circumstances, you have maximum efficiency accidentally. The whole system operates efficiently because each individual is operating to maximize itself.
Okay. If if within the system they were all focused on maximizing for the system. But what happens is in these individualizations of responsibility, people start looking out only for themselves. They forget their part with all of the others.
Well, you don't have to.
Right.
Go ahead.
The example, this is why executives have no problem giving themselves fucking ridiculous bonuses while negotiating, minimal, if not paid, reductions for the labor force. It's insanity.
I 100% think that the animosity towards CEOs is manufactured and plays on people's jealousy and envy.
I'm an example of otherwise.
If every CEO took a 50% pay cut, do you think that would impact your life at all?
Here's the thing. It's not so much my life I'm worried about. I'm worried about the people who are literally starving, literally facing famine.
So why isn't anyone calling for celebrities or athletes to take a pay cut? Because surely their pay is way more obscene.
Yep. Here's the thing, though. Coming from the union experience, that's a common argument. When people are out there saying we should have $15 an hour minimum wage, others are saying, well, why should you get $15 an hour when the paramedic only gets 17? Right. Pay people more. Right. Fucking everybody deserves to be fairly rewarded for their experience, their time, their energy. This society just completely discounts and dismisses the value of people.
How much? I mean, not everybody has value.
That's untrue.
I mean, I don't think it is. I think that's just objectively it's just plain reality. It's not like nobody has value from a spiritual level, but from a boots on the ground level, not everybody's helpful. A lot of people are unhelpful.
Well, free will comes with a cost.
Right. And so if you're an unhelpful person, you don't deserve employment. You're not entitled to anything except for the value that you can provide. And I think that's the beauty of capitalism, is that nobody's obligated to carry burdens of others.
Right. But Flo, that is what this world has taught us. And that is a very selfish way to see. And you're right, though, it's a partial truth. But we all have the opportunity. We all have the opportunity to help the burdens of others, to help lift the burdens of others. With this, our world is divided because people have taught to believe that profits and debts, those really don't matter. Okay. But people have been taught to believe that only profits and debts matter.
Well, I mean, to the extent that they represent your base needs, your root chakra needs, they do that stuff matters. You can't get to the higher tiers of the hierarchy of needs unless you've got the foundation laid.
Only in a corrupted world that denies, the way this is set up, people are denied resources, right? There's all sorts of food and shit all over the shelves in the stores, but there's people sleeping in the streets who we let them go hungry.
I maintain that nobody in America goes hungry unless there's something seriously wrong.
Flo,
no.
that exception, you're right. While other kind and generous citizens have found their way to make sure that there's options available beyond the normal of society, but the normal of society denies citizens, people born in the lands who are supposedly free and protected, but they'll be denied education opportunities. They'll be denied food. clothing, shelter. You can't get that stuff unless you work for it. You earn it.
I mean, that's the way it should be. It should be people. Hold on, let me finish. It should be people individually and voluntarily deciding to help others. It should not be that we're constantly for our whole life dependent on the daddy government that's responsible for us. At some point, we got to spread our wings and become adults and recognize that when individual citizens are voluntarily deciding to help those in need, that is the perfect situation. Nobody's being forced to do something. It's maximum efficiency because you don't have management to pay to shuffle around resources.
But what about the voluntary option to take from and exploit and extort from other beings?
Like, give me an example. What do you mean?
Option? Well, it's supported by our criminal laws. I mean, Exxon, I just saw one of these big oil companies pretty much just took over another South American nation.
There's nothing voluntary about that.
Well, no, it's all agreed upon. It's all contracts.
No, I know that there's contracts, but I understand how economic colonialism works in this day and age, and it's not voluntary, even though they'll say it is voluntary. It's coercive, 100%.
I know. This is my point, man.
But who, even though it may be businesses behind it and who are benefiting from it, governments have the monopoly on violence.
So far, but that's not even true either. Look at the entire mercenary force that Russia.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I knew them. Okay, yeah, I retract that claim. They still have the lion's share, though.
Yes, understand.
And to the extent that greed is just going to be baked into humanity, which it is, you have to admit that there are parts of us that will be there.
That is the part we're here to help each other overcome. Because
well, then don't you?
What's that?
You're up. Don't you think that if we're going to try to change people on that basic of a level, it has to start individually with the individual, from the bottom up, not the top down?
How about yes and?
Okay.
Okay. Yes, the change of our world is going to change as people change within themselves, when they change their value systems. Because when our value systems change, we change. For myself, there's so many examples as I progressed from being a punk high school kid to being a soldier, and then my drinking through all of that stuff. At some point, I had to change. Our world is ready for this change. What changes us truly is when we go from being selfish to selfless. And that is the lesson that the religions were supposed to be teaching us. But
I don't think being selfish is a bad thing, obviously. Because I don't think that you can separate yourself and others. What I think benefits myself is going to also benefit others, and vice versa.
Well, what I know to be true, what I've learned is to unify in faith. To unify in faith, I become a part of, one with now. Because the evidence of the Creator is in the creation. The creation is experienced moment by moment until we're done. So what I see happening for us all is, golly geez, man.
What are you golly geezing?
Just these people just imagine a fault. Oh, here, let me find something negative to say. Spokane is burning. Yes. Jack is streaming, pretending to help people instead of going to Red Cross and helping others.
People love the Jerry Springer shit.
No, see, I'm actually, if Salty Siren, if you would actually listen to my words.
Or come up on panel. I don't think I've ever talked to Salty.
Please. Well, Yeah, me either. Serious, literally, this is Sunday afternoon. I skipped church, even though I am a very devoted man of faith. And I thought today would be conversations of fellowship, the idea of faith, the idea of unity, becoming one, becoming whole, complete. The concept of loving awareness. That loving awareness comes from unconditional love, a place of unconditional love. And I trust that is the way our Creator sees us, is with the awareness of us, of all things about us, but God has a loving awareness of us. And when we can become one in the moment, in the stillness without thought, without labels, without worries and controversies, without memories or imaginations, when we become still in the silence, we are aware. And if you can find within yourself, the love that is, the gratitude of being an example of life in the moment, you can become the loving awareness of what is. and as we become the loving awareness, it brings forth compassionate actions, because from a place of stillness, without the thoughts interrupting and bringing our excuses, we can actually just be guided through the day, through what is right. What is the compassionate action for now? What is the compassionate action to plan? Holy cows, man.
Hi, Margot.
And then bring Paul Unslaved on. He'd be a great co-host. I disagree. I've actually attempted to bring Paul on.
Oh, don't even give that comment like any attention. Yeah. Like
right.
I said, people love dumpster fires.
Yes, they do. But this is just, I've been trying to figure out why. Why is this stuff happening?
Look at hippie chicks giving it to him.
Hey, you know what, hippie chick, God bless. Thank you. I encourage these women, you want to offer hate, disrespect to me every day, you do worship Daddy Paul. Please.
So Paul does the same thing. You remember how during the lockdowns and the masks and stuff, those policies enabled spiteful people who are cowardly to be spiteful openly for the first time? Yeah. That's what Paul does for a lot of people, is he authorizes them to exercise spite and do it safely.
Yep. I've witnessed several people, Moose and others, who pick up on these traits of confident anger and insult, and then they go around and try and become like that. Oops, I didn't do that. But there was a thought I've been trying to consider. Why is it that people treat me the way they do? Why is it they treat Paul the way they do? And there's obviously distinctions between he and I. I'm a kind and loving and generous man who truly cares about all people. And I think what that does with people is they may feel some guilt within themselves. And then I get blamed for the guilt, whereas Paul is a good excuse, I
didn't hear the beginning of that. I hit the wrong button, but yeah, I don't know. Guilt is a pretty useless emotion, I think. I think people need to feel less guilt about everything.
Well, I heard this at a church sermon not long ago. I mentioned it before, and it makes perfect sense for myself in my experience too. Guilt and shame, our own thoughts of guilt and shame, keep us from hearing the loving whisper, the soft whisper of spirit and truth that is within us. Our own guilt and shame will focus on the negative, will focus on the blame, repeat these narratives over and over in our head, and we will ignore the soft whispering voice of truth. Just love it.
I was just imagining that soft whisper sounding like the old man from Family Guy.
Hey, there's a subtlety though to the way that my spirit, the way I understand my spirit, it's very subtle. It's an experience that I encourage everyone. Go within yourself to try to understand how would your spirit speak to you? How would you hear what God wants you to know, what God wants you to do? I've been praying for that for a long time. That was my prayer again today. May I please receive some sort of confirmation, some sort of response, some sort of guidance as for what I should do.
Don't you think that he kind of gave you that decision?
Yeah. Absolutely. And thank you. I recognize God did give me the decision to do what I want, when I want, how I want. I know what I want, what I hope to achieve, what I hope to share, I know what I hope to offer today.
Hate sows the seeds of its own destruction. I don't even remember where I heard that quote. It sort of lodged itself in my head, and so that's for the chat.
That's absolutely true. So, Margot Davey, why don't you go volunteer in your neighborhood, Jack? So here, I'm going to honestly answer this question because I started bringing this up earlier. You can judge me for the choice I made, or you can try to understand. But this was the thought I was thinking. Golly, geez, the smoke is there. I saw the church has they're taking money, of course. Money's the answer to help those people. My thought was, I wonder if there's a way to go help fight the fires. How would someone who's healthy and, available go be of support to doing something like that? I don't know. And then I started thinking that through, where I could look it up, where, who might I approach and what directions could I go to try and be some sort of help towards solving problems. And then I remember the past 5 years of my past. And I remember all the times I have offered my time, my attention, my energy, my efforts, my talent. So I prayed once again, and God guided me to spend most of this morning in silence alone. Didn't really pay too much attention to too many things. Well, that's not true. I did tune into, listened into London McLovin earlier, but, hippie chick, God bless you. Thank you. Margot, one day you will realize your part in what you're blaming me for in my experience. This life we're living, guys, seriously, it can break us, but the purpose of this life is to create us. And these thoughts are just coming to me now, but the world will want us to be created in its image, in the image of our religion, in the image of our political views, or our sexual preference. The world wants us to conform to it. And sometimes maybe we do. Sometimes maybe we do fit into some of these categories, but brothers and sisters, you're here to create yourself. You're here to create the best you that you can. And we never know what we can do until the time of it happening. I didn't know how I'd react when I lost here. Margot, God bless you. You accuse me of deflecting. You know, I didn't know what I would do when my ex-wife finally got my son to turn against, got our son to turn against me. I didn't know how I'd react. I didn't know how I'd react when my union brothers and sisters who I had trained and mentored and taken under my wing, I didn't know how I would react when they started not listening to me and pushing me away. Margot, I didn't know how I'd react when some stranger like you came out of the woodwork to trash my name all over the community. Praise God.
Praise God.
Praise God.
Oh.
Margot, Jack the victim. Is being a victim a bad thing? Is that the person's fault?
I thought it was a badge of honor.
Well, in today's society, it kind of is. That was one of my big complaints a long time ago, that Oprah Winfrey was creating the victim mentality, promoting being a victim, in my opinion.
I never really watched her. I couldn't tell you.
I didn't watch it much. I formed an opinion and moved on. So maybe I'm wrong. But Margot, when you recognize that you were actually an abuser, okay?
Margot's a dry drunk.
She has been. She's
I sort of think that like she should just drink again, because I can't imagine that that's worse than being sort of hostile all the time or snaky.
Drinking would ease her mind from her suspicions and her accusations, but
Probably make her fun too.
I know what would be better. I know the truth would be more healing. When Margot climbs off her pedestal, finds within her, oh, my prayers, my prayer today, and it's almost a daily prayer. The prayer I share often is, please, God, please open the minds and soften the hearts of those in this world who are so dark. Because, Margot, your darkness has been overshadowing my light to some degree, at least in your experience. Margot, may your mind open and your heart soften. Because when that happens, you'll learn humility. And see, Flo, thanks for allowing me to go on and on, but I was on Machine Lie's broadcast for a little bit last night.
I like him.
I do too. He and several others are very well read, very articulate in what they know. And we had some pretty profound conversations last night regarding time and thought and mind. I forget why I brought him up. I don't know. What do you think, Flo? We're coming up on a couple of hours. I'm feeling. Let me offer to the panel, to the chat. I set these up. Kind and loving participants are all welcome to join. Although I see the viewer numbers really do drop, man. Holy cows.
Well, a lot of things just started right now, and that's okay. You know, like I said, the dumpster fire sells. So do you want to be a dumpster fire?
No, I don't want to be a dumpster fire.
And I believe in the law of attraction too much to ignore. Like, I actually believe in it. And so that's why I try not to indulge in like bullshit as much as I normally would.
You know, good for you. That's a way of respecting the power of words. And words do bring power. There is a power to what we offer into the world. And it starts through our thoughts and our words, the energies we feel. Here. I am going to wrap this up. So whether you want to stay or not, Flo, I was going to.
No, that's cool. I got to get to O'Reilly's before it closes anyway. So good talk. Take it easy. Good night, chat.
Respect. Thank you, Flo. I appreciate your time and participation. So I was looking at my notes again regarding Unify in faith. The concept that faith brings a unity. Okay, because the possessor is me. The possessor of faith will feel a unity in an outcome, in a partner, in a moment. So choose what you place your faith in. Do you have faith in negative outcomes? Do you have faith in the failures of others? Do you have faith in problems more than solutions? The faith brings a unity, ideally with the Creator and the creative force. As I apply my faith, as I said, I have faith in me, my loving awareness of now. And I have faith that the past has developed me and my loving awareness to, I'll be able to handle whatever the future brings with love, with gratitude, with confidence, with faith, and with peace. Because peace is the gift. It is the reward for having faith, and it's your faith to have. There's a divine faith that is available for us, right? If Jesus was the divine image of a man, possessed and demonstrated the powers that were and are available, he demonstrated the act of mercy, compassion, wisdom, faith, most of all, in his meat suit, in his fleshly being. He had faith beyond him, he had faith in the purpose, in God's plan, in God's love, in God's wisdom, God's perfection. He had faith, divine faith. And so as I understand the concepts and what I've accepted for myself is his being, not body, but the knowing and the spirit of Christ is eternal, and it has been from the beginning, and that means it's here for me now. And so in this moment, when I allow myself to surrender, right, from that throne that's within my mind, I allow Jack to get out of the way, man. Allow that leader, that man, that image of Christ to rule within me. And by having faith, by unifying me with the Christed Spirit, with God, with the presence and being of now, that unity, that unifying force of faith, it eliminates separation. And if you're not separated, you're not going to be oppressed. If you're not divided, you're not going to be conflicted. So when you remove the separations, you can move yourself through a spiritual rebirth, right? That's the story in the Bible. That's the story of the Christ. We go through this spiritual death, right? And when we allow ourselves to die from the old ways of the world, our fears, our worries, our judgments, our opinions and labels, when we allow ourselves to die, figuratively, right? Intellectually, mentally, spiritually, when you allow your spiritual death so that you may be reborn, renewed, restructured, refocused. The spiritual rebirth, it's simply a cessation of the past. That's all you're doing. You're just quitting being the way you were with the purpose and intention of becoming better. And so rather than being separated in the moment of today as you go through your day, rather than feeling so separated from the people you encounter, from the things that are happening around you, feel as one. Have faith. Have faith that your divine spirit is guiding you, that the angels you don't see, you don't know, they are there. They're right there with your energy, with your true beingness. And as we, rather than be divided from those in the now, separate yourself from the past. Create a distinction. Yep, that was me then. That was me then. Today I am anew. Today I am refocused. Today I am improving. Today I am reborn. And so another concept to unify in faith, to unify, to be united. To be united is to be whole. That happens within in the micro, it happens outside in the collective, happens with nature, with society, with the entire cosmos. There is a wholeness and a completeness to each moment. And each moment brings us a new opportunity for a new perspective, for a new change, for a new gift. I hope, brothers and sisters, I hope this does make some sense, and I hope those who joined may at least receive the seeds of thoughts in your subconscious, right? The idea of hope and faith. It can be easily rejected by the arrogant, egoic mind, the stubborn mind that says, no, I'm right, you're wrong. The world is wrong, and I'm right. I'm the only one who's right. I think we know lots of those people. Many of them accuse me of being that. Brothers and sisters, I love love. To me, love is that which reveals the truth. It is the light. It is the reason for living. And I have love to share. I come on here today to offer you some of that. I hope it's received. Those who tune in today or maybe later, let's see what the future brings. Choose love, peace for everyone. Until next time, live without fear.